What's going on, guys? It's Crazy Kevin here, and I'm here with UFC fighter Jared Night Train Gooden. Jared, how we doing?
Man, doing great, brother. Like I said, just left sparring, so I'm having a great day.
Awesome. All right. So, Jared, talk to us a little bit about your fight you have coming up here and how you have your advantages in your matchup.
Like I said, I'm fighting Kevin Joseph, if I'm saying his last name correctly. Really good kickboxer. My advantages going into the fight is simple as a jab. That's what I'm going to do to destroy him. See, kickboxing is the gym he trains out of, and if you saw Izzy fight Sean Strickland, he mainly lost because of a jab. You know what I mean? So that's the same game plan I'm going into my fight. I'm going there, I'm just going to jab him to death, and then I know the openings will present itself.
Now, you mentioned in previous interviews that you think your jab is your best weapon. How do you think your jab is your best weapon? And, what are some things you do in the gym to get it prepared for your fights?
How do I think my jab's my best weapon? My range and distance. My lungs are armored. I'm sorry, my arms are longer than most people expect, and so when they're getting jabbed, they don't never see it coming. What I've been like I said, I've just been working on jab. I'm working my jab 100 a day. You know what I mean? Just getting used to just pumping it nonstop, and that's what I'm going there and do May 11th.
Now, when it comes to jabbing in general, for some advice for newbies out there that maybe don't know how to throw a jab, what is some advice out there for somebody out there?
Ooh, that's a great question. Step on your jab, cover distance. That's the best advice I can give you guys. Step on the jab, and like I said, people don't know, but when you step on a jab, whatever you just stepped adds on to the length of your arm. So, like I said, that's what I believe, and the best way to make a jab.
100%. Now, when it comes to your matchup, how do you typically find your advantages in your opponent?
That's a great question, and the best way I can answer that is my coaches. My coaches watch the film of my opponents, and they put in what I need to do in our training. I don't like to watch my opponents like a lot of other fighters do. The reason is because I believe each fighter evolves from their last fight, if that makes sense. Because like if you watch me like 10 fights ago, I don't fight the same. Even 5 or 3 fights ago, I don't fight the same. And so yeah, I always believe people are going to evolve, and so I don't try to get hung up on he throws his jabbers cross this way. Let me try to stick be a stickler about that. No man, I just like I said, I give it to my coaches, and my coaches put in the training for me.
100%. Now, when it comes to your matchup with Kevin, if you come out with a win, do you have any plans on what you think will be coming next?
I'm a fight fan first. I'm a fighter and a fight fan. So really, it's whoever the fans want to see me fight. You know what I mean? I don't want to take all this time like, I want this guy, I want this guy. It's whoever the fans want to see. You know what I mean? I'm a like I said, I'm a fight fan. Whoever the fans want to see me get in the cage with, that's what I'm going to go do.
Now, I was looking at the rankings, and I guess a matchup that I was personally liking was Brian Battle. Have you looked at any of his matchups, and what do you think about him?
Brian Battle. Oh yeah, he's a great fighter. I watched his last fight where the guy claimed a knife poke and why they ruled it a no contest. Yeah, look, I agree with Battle how he called the guy the P word. I don't want to say it, but like he called him that word. Because yeah, his opponent found a way out. You know what I mean? So he wouldn't take a quote unquote loss, just a no contest. I would love to fight. Brian Battle. If that's what the fans want to see me fight, that's all I'm gonna go against. You know, like I said, I'm with it.
That would be a fun one. I think so. Now, when it comes to your matchup in St. Louis, have you ever been to St. Louis? And if you haven't, are you planning to do any sort of sightseeing?
Great question. I have not been to St. Louis, and yes, I do plan on sightseeing. I love going to a new city and just walking the streets and getting the vibe of the city. One of my best performances was when I was in New Orleans. And what's crazy is I fought during the time where they had the Final Four in New Orleans as well. So me and my coaches walk in the streets, and they have schools. Walking the streets with drums and everything, just making a lot of music and everything, street performance. I bought some street art out there, like just feeling the vibe of the city really resonates with me. So that's what I plan to do in St. Louis.
Now, you're a finishing machine. You've got a lot of knockouts. You've got a lot of submissions. What is more satisfying for you, a knockout or a submission?
Oh, great question. I'm really glad you asked this question. To me, it's more satisfying than getting a submission. The reason is because we're fighting trained fighters, you know what I mean? And to knock somebody out, like anybody close their eyes, swing for the fences, and luckily catch somebody and put them out, it takes skill to make another fighter say, I quit. That's what it is. That's what tapping out is, saying, I quit, I can't take anymore. So, yeah, I love finishes. I love to just finish people, but the submission is so much more to me, you know what I mean? Because, again, like, I train 6 days a week. I'm sure my opponent's doing the same, if not more. And again, to go in the cage and to make them say they quit is like, man, that shit. That's what I get off to, man. That's what I love.
I love it. I love it. Now, this is your second stint in the UFC. How would you like the MMA fans to remember you in your second stint here?
I'm a fight fan. You know what I mean? That's what I want them to know is like, I'm there to be pleasing to the eye and to like, whoever they want me to fight, I'm there. You know what I mean? I've only, out of my 32 fights, I've only had to back out of one fight. And that's because I needed time for my knee at the time, you know? And so I'm not, like I said, I'm a fight fan. I just love to go in there. And that's what I want the fans to remember me by is like, Jared fought whoever, whenever, and he's always game.
Now, when you were released from the UFC, what was maybe the best advice that you got from maybe a fighter or a coach?
The best advice from my coach is, man, just stay on. It's a great question because I'm trying not to go into like a whole like spill because like me and my coach, we have daily conversations. You know what I mean? Like what I love about my coach is he's the first coach to actually know me inside and outside the cage in the gym. You know what I mean? Like most coaches, like you show up, put in the work, they're like, all right, go ahead, leave, and they don't care about you until you show back up. My coach cares. Like even today, I might go to my coach's house to watch the Devin Haney and Garcia fight. You know what I mean? Like he cares that we spend time together and he understands me. You know what I mean? Like what's funny about my coach is he knows when I'm BSing and all kinds of stuff. He knows me like really well. Like I said, he's family to me. You know, the best advice he gave me was just again to stay on the horse, and he wanted me to show the UFC that they needed me. You know what I mean? And that's what we did. We would go 5-1 outside the UFC, and they called us right back. You know, and one of the biggest things is I was supposed to fight. I fought on Jorge Masvidal's the first Icon card he had. They wanted me to fight on. I believe it was the fourth one later that year, but sadly my fight got scrapped. But what's so cool is I was fighting at middleweight at the time, but Sean Shelby still showed up, and he even told me he pulled me to the side after he heard my fight was canceled. He said he was only there for me to watch me fight. You know, that is huge. You know what I mean? So again, I chalk that all up to my coach. You know what I mean? Like again, he helps me put in the work to be pleasing to the eye, and so I thank my coach for that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely important, and definitely having a good coach is definitely important with your second UFC run. Now, another thing I'd like to mention is in another interview that you had, you mentioned that some people in the gym, they like to post some of their sparring highlights against like some lower level guys. I'm sure you've went up there against a lot of high level talent. Who do you think is the hardest person you've ever sparred against?
Ooh, great question. My coach. It's funny, though. The reason I say that is because my coach is 50 years old. You know what I mean? And so, real quick, again, I've been in the sport for 13 years. I've had all kinds of coaches who want to tell you what to do, but they can't get in the ring or in the cage to show you what to do. Like I said, my coach will do that. You know what I mean? Like he'll put on gloves again, 50 years old, and he'll go in there and bang with me. You know what I mean? Again, that's why I love my coach because he does it, and like again, he's my coach. He knows my strengths and my weaknesses. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, when we spar, I learn the most from my coach. And so, again, I really appreciate my coach for doing that. I've sparred a lot of great guys. I've sparred all over Atlanta. We've been to all the gyms here. But, yeah, my coach is definitely the hardest guy I sparred ever.
Now, talking about some high-level fighters or even athletes that you've been around, you mentioned also in another interview that you trained 3 NFL linebackers. Talk to us why they even came to you for some MMA training.
Ooh, a great question. I believe it was because of the gym I was at the time. I was part of SBG Buford, and what people don't know is like, yeah, I've trained a lot of played 3 Atlanta Falcons players, and I believe their athletic gym, like where they work on like on the off season, is in Flowery Branch or near Buford, where my gym was, and like thankfully one of their agents just reached out to the local gyms, and I was just glad to work with them. You know, I work with Paul Warlow. I've worked with Duke Riley, and I've also worked with I don't know why his name's DJ, but it's Deion Jones. You know what I mean? Like some great guys, man. Like they're really awesome and fun. Like we've worked hands and everything. We worked even some like tackling stuff because wrestling and tackling go hand in hand. You know, so it's just really awesome to see high level to meet and work with other high level athletes.
So were you mentioning wrestling and tackling is pretty much the same thing? I'm guessing you were teaching those guys a lot of like double leg takedowns, I'm assuming, or what would you kind of do to like kind of make it translate?
So in jiu-jitsu, there's a move called the arm drag. And again, working with linebackers, I used to play football back in the day. And, you know, how to explain, you know, they get jammed up by some of the blockers. And the best, I would always teach them an arm drag is a great way to get them out the way. Because, you know, blocking, of course, they have to push you only on your chest. They can't grab you like you can on defense. And so I would tell them as the hands are coming up to like swipe it away and then grab deep in the arm, pull them aside. It's like an arm drag past them to get rid of to get rid of a blocker, and then go for the ball. Whoever has the ball, if that makes sense. Wrestling and like I said, a good double leg is great. I even taught them a single leg because a single leg takedown, and stat wise, is the most has the highest finish rate out of wrestling, MMA, and all of them. The reason is because from a single leg, you can transition to a double leg, to a high crush, to whatever. You know what I mean? So that's one of the big things I was keen on teaching them as well.
Interesting. Now, when it also comes to another quarterback, it was Taito Lunga on the Dolphins. He was doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu training to stay safe. Have you ever heard that news, and what do you think about that?
I have not heard that. That's funny you say that. I don't think that. I believe jiu-jitsu is good for staying safe out in the streets. You know what I mean? But it does wear and tear on your body. Like when I was younger, I used to do a lot more jiu-jitsu. As I'm getting older, I do jiu-jitsu like 2 or 3 times a week at most. And because there is a lot of wear and tear on your body, when people are pulling each of your limbs, you know what I mean? That's wear and tear your body does not need, you know? So, again, to learn, I say do as much as you can, but once you got a good footing in jiu-jitsu, again, especially if you're trying to fight, I say you don't need this much.
100%. Now, I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I mentioned that. And I deal with all sorts of kids and adults. You mentioned in another interview you have ADHD. How do you think ADHD and martial arts kind of go hand in hand? And how do you think, martial arts helped your ADHD?
Oh, it helped me tremendously. The reason is when I was younger, even still as an adult, I can get sidetracked very easily. Thankfully, training MMA gave me something to focus on, and it was exciting to learn, if that makes sense. So I love to tell people I am a high school dropout. You know what I mean? I dropped out because the teachers back when I was in school, especially nowadays, the teachers are just there for a paycheck. You know what I mean? Oh, open your books up to page 42 and read it, and then do this word assignment, whatever. They don't care to really have fun teaching people. That whenever all the classes I excelled in, the teacher made learning fun. You know what I mean? And that's what MMA is for me. Like all kinds of training, it's fun to learn how to break somebody down. It's fun to learn how to throw a cross the correct way, So that's how MMA has helped me. It helped me zone in, if that makes sense. Again, it is fun to zone in. So now I take that into life, if that makes sense. I always try to find I love to read books as well. I love to read fantasy books. There's something that keeps my mind working, something to help me focus on, if that makes sense. But yeah, MMA has helped me learn how to focus with my ADHD.
100%. Now, what are maybe some of the best books you've read?
Oh man, that's a great question. The Maze Runner series was great. The Hunger Games was great. I have on my what's funny is on my right side, I have the Hanging Tree poem tattooed on my ribs. Every time you'll see anybody post a picture of me, they're like, "Oh, he has scripture on his side." I'm like, "Nope, I'm not a basic bitch. I don't have scripture." You know what I mean? It's the Hanging Tree. The Hunger Games, the Maze Runner. I just finished this series. Ooh, I'm not gonna say the name wrong, but it's basically hold on, I gotta find it out. It's gonna bother me. Where'd I put it? Yes, the third book I read is called The Light of All That Falls. It was written by James. I'm gonna say his last name wrong. Let me just show you. Where with the camera? There it is.
Okay. It's Islington, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's how I would guess.
But great series, great book. You know what I mean? Like in fantasy, it's just stuff like that keeps me involved, and I just love as a fighter to keep my mind working. I believe that's what helps us in the cage and in the ring.
Now, you also mentioned yourself too that you've done coaching, and you've done coaching for about 10 plus years, I believe you said. How do you think coaching makes you a better fighter?
Great question. The reason I believe coaching helps you be a better fighter is, even being a teacher in the game, I'm still a student. You know what I mean? And I love when somebody asks me a question I'm not ready for. You know what I mean? They're like, I throw it to like this, and they're like, "But why?" You know what I mean? Then you have to explain that. And then a lot of people still be like, "But why? But why?" There's always that "but why" question, or why does it work? And I love when people make me have to think outside the box. Like what I'm about to think outside the box is I have to explain it so they can understand it. Like I've taught regular people, I've taught special ed people. You know what I mean? You have to be able to make sense to transfer your like not your mind, but transfer the thought to them. You know what I mean? And I just love when people ask me questions on why. Because as a coach, I can admit if I don't know the answer, I'll tell them, hey, you know what? I don't know. I'm gonna ask my coach. I'm gonna get back to you. You know that I believe that's what makes a good teacher and a good student. I hate when coaches are like, it's just because I said so. You know what I mean? Like that's so stupid to me. You know what I mean? Like there's what you call it? I love to also pull up fights. My fights are older fights on why I do things. You know what I mean? So people don't just take my word for it. You see it here. You see me doing it. You know what I mean? That's what I love.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's definitely cool. And on top of that, you mentioned teaching special needs students. Do you happen to teach the special needs students in with your regular students as well too, or do you have like a special class for those guys?
I do more. I do have a class, but I do more one-on-ones. So I do more just me and them. Because I believe everybody. How to explain it? Everybody deserves their own time. It's hard to be in a class. So I teach a jiu-jitsu class every Monday at 6:30 in my gym. I tell people, yeah, class is cool, but it's better to do one-on-ones because I can focus only on you, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? In class, it's I hope I get to you when I get to you if we have time. You know what I mean? Like, thankfully I do, but it's just like that's what the class is, and I'd rather do one-on-ones because again, they have my full attention.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% because I deal with that same issue in my martial arts school. I have some special needs students and with the rest of my guys too. And I just sometimes I wish I had more one-on-one attention with those guys because I know if I just spend a little bit more time with them, they could definitely pick it up. But it just kind of takes a little bit more time than the average guy. So yeah, I'm definitely cool that you dropped that on us. Jared, on top of that, like we've been talking about, with me being a Taekwondo instructor, I've been teaching for 6 years now, and I have a lot of guys in my gym. What advice would you give to those guys to keep coming into the gym and keep training and to keep on getting better and better every single day?
The advice, just like I say, keep coming, make it fun. You know what I mean? To the guys coming in, like, what's that old Bruce Lee saying? Don't be afraid of the guy who does 1,000 kicks one time. Be afraid of the guy who does one kick 1,000 times. That means that guy knows that kick. You know what I mean? He knows inside and out. You know what I mean? So I would just tell people make it fun for yourself. You know what I mean? Like again, my goal going into this fight, May 11th, is my jab. You know what I mean? I'm having fun learning new ways to throw a jab. You know what I mean? And that's what I would tell people. Just find something that you can hone in on, zone in on. You know what I mean? Because it'll make learning that's more fun and better for you. But always stay on the horse and just keep learning, guys.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. No, I definitely agree. That's a good message. And speaking of messages out there, Jared, last message out there for the fans that are going to be watching this video.
Last message, guys, check out my sponsor, 100% Nutrition. Those guys help my body stay 100%. Yeah, come May 11th, I'm gonna go out there and jab Kevin Joseph to death. You heard it here live, so when you see it, don't be shocked. Yeah, guys, yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Night Train MMA 23, Twitter, capital J, capital G, Night Train 23. Man, like I said, I live and die for May 11th, so I can't wait to go out there and show the world what I'm working on.
And Jared, we're definitely looking forward to it, May 11th. And thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come on. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
All right, my man. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.
Sir.
All right. Take care.